Hi, I'm Gunther Doran, Chief Growth Officer at Peak Performers. If you're not familiar with us, we're a nonprofit staffing agency. Puts people to work with disabilities. Today I'm joined by Myles, Wallace, our Community Outreach Manager. You know, it's estimated that people with disabilities have twice the unemployment rate of their peers. This is a great underutilized talent pool to tap in during this current labor shortage. I've asked Myles to join us to talk a little bit about how to open your search to include people with disabilities.
Absolutely. I'm glad to be here. And jumping right into it, my very first tip that I like to throw out to people is assumability, right? People with disabilities are often defined by what they cannot do, but the reality of it is that they may be able to do so much more than the very thing that's been holding them back from the job search these days.
Absolutely. I think instantly we think of that stigma of the image in our head of someone with a disability. But we don't think about all the things that people with disabilities can do and all the things they're accomplishing currently.
Oftentimes you can advertise a job normally. It's not like people with disabilities are going somewhere special to look for work. The reality of it is that most of them are going to be looking through the same kinds of job postings that you do for any other employee.
One of the things we see often in job postings is that we say we do hire veterans. We have a DNI program, but I think making sure that you put that on your posting, that you are an inclusive employer, will really help you attract people with disabilities that may not apply to those postings.
And speaking of the job postings, the other thing that I would add is really look through the job posting content to make sure that you're not unnecessarily excluding any populations of people. So, say for example, you have a requirement there of being able to lift 50 pounds. Is that really necessary? Like, is that actually core to the job function? Or, say for example, you want to make sure that your job posting can be accessed by a screen reader so somebody who's blind can be able to read it.
Look at those job postings. Think about them pre-COVID and post-COVID and all the accommodations that we made during the pandemic for associates with or without disabilities, the right to work remotely, all the accommodations for kids, for schooling, and for hours. Let's make sure that those job descriptions are really well read and fit for today's economy.
If you do want to find specifically individuals with disabilities and make a proactive recruiting effort, you can attend disability-focused hiring events. We have one here in Central Texas region that I like to attend every single year, and it's a great way to connect with many different people. You can also find many different community nonprofits as well that will help job seekers with disabilities connect with you too.
Those events are fantastic because they'll be full of educational information on how to make accommodations and work with people with disabilities, as well as you'll get to hear real life experiences from those that are working and have had success through these programs.
The other thing that I would throw out too is that just realize that this won't happen overnight. It's not like flipping a light switch. This is something that's going to happen one conversation at a time with every single person in your organization. So really focus on culture and training in your organization in order to have the maximum impact.
We find that companies that have continuing education in this space continue to evolve and become more entrenched in diversity within their organization.
Thanks so much for watching, and thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, thank you, Myles. And you guys have a great afternoon.